It's the Craig Shoemaker Show with Craig Shoemaker, Sarah Sweet, and Joel Geist.
You're listening to Craig Shoemaker, America.
Who did this to you? Kira Sultanovich is our guest.
You are the love master. But don't you have like 17 kids?
I have another one on the way.
Stop it.
I swear to God,
Dude,
a girl.
you need to pull out. We get it. You're fertile.
We have Eric Griffin is here. I'm glad you're here. Why don't you co-host every week? Male co-host.
First of all, I'm looking around, and I need to call the NAACP about this.
Got a lot of people in the room.
You know what I mean? No, this is honky central right now.
No. We're going to get to that. It's Katie Seagal. You're going to be on a show that I absolutely love. And am I allowed to say it? Are you allowed to say it?
Yeah, which show?
She's got so many of them.
Frangela, they're coming in. Why do you think you should be on The Price is Right? Play the Asian thing. If she goes, it's called Price is Light. I swear to God, we're a winner. I think I have created a person who would be chosen.
We're dangerously close to me telling you, Francis, to go to the Price is Right with like a bone in your nose.
Hey, hi, who's this?
Hey, this is John Resnick.
From the Goo Goo Dolls.
From the Goo Goo Dolls, yes.
Everything he sings sounds amazing.
Can you sing Mary Had a Little Lamb?
Mary had a little lamb.
Wherever I am, there is joy and laughter. Yay. No?
Make sure to visit our website, craigshoemakershow.com.
Oh, he's the best.
You know,
Brought to
a lot
you
of
by...
you need to know, thank you, that we are brought to you by this first hour by Squarespace.
Woo!
Squarespace is an amazing thing that I'm actually doing myself where you can design your own website. It's 24/7 care that they will give you, and that's the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Rather than farm it out to someone else that you have to pay a lot of money, Squarespace can help you have your own website. And we'll get more about that at the next hour. We'll give you the more specifics, but this hour is brought to you by that. And you are going to want to watch our show today. Not only listen to our show, which we've, by the way, quadrupled. We've quadrupled the amount of downloads on iTunes, etc. And thank you all. I want to thank all of you, the audience, because without you, I'm your waiter. And so I would like to say...
Joel and I are homeless.
I would like well, what would change?
Not much. Not much.
I want to tell you that you should watch today because right before we came on the air, Sarah said, gosh, I'm good looking.
Oh, shut up.
So you want to tune in just for that. That's curiosity's sake. Even if you are downloading and listening in your car right now, you're going, oh my God, what does she look like?
I was just kidding.
Joel and I will describe what she looks
Okay,
like.
here it goes.
Doe eyes. Would you say doe?
Yeah, doe a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun.
Far, a long way to run. Yeah, she's a long way to run. Yeah, but
Wait.
yeah,
Clarify.
you are a beautiful woman, and I think that part of it has to do with you are feeling wonderful about yourself. I think there's so many things that are happening for you, Sarah. I know you get embarrassed when people talk about you in
It's
this
in
way.
Scary Cats. I'm going to own it and act professional.
I love that Sam Jackson's in the
Barry
Matrix,
Katz.
and now Barry Katz is now Gary Katz.
Yes.
I can't wait till he hears that. He changed your
Barry.
life, and now he's Gary.
Okay. He got his last name.
Maybe that's going to help the career a little bit. Get the names right.
I know. It's not going to happen.
Maybe that's been preventing more success.
Well,
But
Craig Shoemaker, right?
yeah, don't even get me started. I'm going on a sailing trip with a guy that keeps calling me Shoemaker. I said, it might be man overboard. You try that umlaut one more time with me, and you might be overboard with the whales. We're going to go whale watching on Friday. Want to go, Sarah? I love the way Sarah treats me. Let me just tell you how it is. Sarah treats me in a way that reminds me, and it really cuts to my core of the way it was when I was out there dating. I did not have a great dating life, okay? But it was...
You didn't?
Like, well, no, there was a lot of guys that women would just go, whoa, they're swooning, and they're just ready for... Oh my God, he asked me out, and it's an immediate yes.
Yeah.
What I got all through my dating career is exactly what Sarah just gave me right now. It's like, you make this proposal, of which is a wonderful proposal. Like, I think that I've got a lot of things going, and, you know, as a person who would date them, you know, I've got a little intellect, a little sense of humor, a little success, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad body, you know, 6'2", got all those things going. So I just did the equivalent of that, of saying what we would do on Friday, whale watching, sailing, sounds really great, 75-degree temperatures, and she went, I'll get back to you. That was the same as me asking someone else.
Oh, let me think about it. I'll get back. No, I know for sure I can't go Friday. Not that I wouldn't love to.
You know for sure you can't go Friday. This is the second installment of what would happen when I was dating.
Yeah.
Is they would figure it out as I was talking too much. They would figure out exactly what the reason would be that they won't go on the date with me, even the first date.
No, actually, whale watching sounds awesome.
It sounds awesome, and so do I as a
You
date.
do. It's unfortunate
so
that
I
I'm very busy for the next 5 years.
What are you doing on Friday? You're so busy.
I don't want to admit it, but I have to, because I've had pitches this week, so I have to make up some babysitting hours with two different families on
Okay.
Friday.
I was thinking she was going with what the pitches were and who they were with. For those of you who don't know that aren't in Hollywood, you pitch projects, of which Sarah has many, including what we did the other day. Joel, you were there, and I was there at the living room show that you're producing with our fabulous substitute co-host, Ileana Douglas. You two produced these living room shows, of which you honored me by asking me back again.
Yes, we love Craig Shoemaker.
There's no delay in that.
No, none.
Okay.
Did you hear nothing? You kill it. They love you. You're amazing. You're a heavy hitter.
I will tell you the truth. So a lot of heavy hitters were there,
Yeah.
including a guy, one of the stars of Glee, was in it.
Max Adler,
To tell you the kind of level of talent they have, he wasn't even one of the stars.
No.
He was along with some other improv actors. He didn't even get the biggest applause in his little group. Lorraine Newman probably did.
she got screams.
Yeah, the legendary Lorraine Newman, who started Saturday Night Live. She was in your living room show as, again, just a cast member.
Yeah.
That tells you the kind of level.
She was an original on SNL?
She's an original
Cast
with
member.
Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Jane Curtin, Chevy Chase, Garrett Morris, and John Belushi. I think those were the originals, right?
Just not do anything else and be proud.
Yeah, she could do that.
Yeah, she walked on stage
I wouldn't
and people
present
just
that to
started
her, Joel.
screaming.
You could just die
exactly
right
like
now.
that. That wouldn't be the greatest compliment. I know it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, by the way, just die.
You're done.
Hey, Chevy, you should quit Community or whatever shows you're on. Every one of you, just forget your career.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Murray I think he came in about after season 1, and Dan Aykroyd, I believe, was an original. So she was in your show conducting a therapy session with one of the stars of Glee, Max Adler.
Yeah.
And he plays a guy that I've been watching for all this time. He plays the bully.
Yeah.
And the football player who turns out really is gay, although he's not in real life.
No, he is a lady.
I don't want to spoil alert, but wow, he's got a hot fiance.
Are they engaged?
Yes, they are.
I don't know if I'd say she's.
Really?
I just did.
Sarah, how in the
public radio.
world can you do what you just did, knowing that he's going to come on this show and I'm going to tell him, check out another episode? I'm going to have to lead him to the Gary Katz episode.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to watch that one to hear, well, he's going to hear that I think she's hot. Well, maybe that's not a good thing.
She's very cute.
Should you express that about someone else's woman?
I'd do her. You could say that.
How about Joel's woman? Very hot as well.
Super.
And throw in the accent.
Yeah, she's a little Spanish.
Oh,
cutie.
throw in that accent. Does she lisp on her S's? Because, you know, they say, in Spain, a lot of people don't realize this, they say, gracias. Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. You know that, right? And you know the
No.
reason for this, Sarah?
No.
Okay, so now we live in Los Angeles, so you hear a lot of Spanish being spoken. They go, gracias,
Gracias.
si senor, and all
Yeah.
that, you know, whatever. I studied French in high school, but pardon me. So
I'm studying Spanish now.
you
I'm
should.
trying to
you
catch
studying
up.
just.
Yeah.
What does she yell out? Does she yell out in Spanish?
No, she doesn't actually.
During
She's
the
starting-
moment?
No,
He's
she's,
talking about the SEX moments.
No, I know. I guess that hasn't happened. And I
She
hadn't even
knows
thought
English.
about
Well,
She goes
Joel,
English.
maybe
You got to
you
make
need
her
to
go
do some
Spanish
work.
on that one. That'll make it even
it. She
better.
speaks English too well. It doesn't happen.
Not really. She's got
Oh,
a
man.
full accent.
She doesn't even think she has an
such a-
accent, too.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
she has
she's-
such an accent that I said to her, "Where's that from?" I mean, I did one of those American things. Where are you from? She's like, Iowa? No. She's from Spain, but does she have the lispy? So they say in Spain, they say gracias.
Gracias.
And do you know-
Actually, it's gracias. The last S is still an S.
okay, it's still.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
But you still did the lispy thing.
Yeah, gracias.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because the king of Spain was apparently very queeny and had a lisp when he
Get
spoke.
out of here.
Exactly. So in respect to him, if you went to the king and asked him for some money, you would say, "Oh, thank you so much for the money."
Yeah, in south of Spain. they do all-
Gracias,
they do
gracias. And he would go, "Gracias to you too."
What king? What king?
He's the king.
What
the
king
king
and
of
when was this?
España.
Should I call her and verify that legend? Because I've actually heard that too, but I haven't asked her if it was true.
Call her. Okay, live on the air? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, call her now. Go out and give the number to
Shit.
Angela or whatever. I don't think you can actually say it out loud
Okay.
or she'll be getting sex phone calls.
Well, no, I
No.
would just call her on speakerphone here if that's easier.
Really? Is that easier or should we do it through you, Angela? What do you think? Do it through Angela.
Let's do it through the phone line.
All right, I'll go
Do it
back
through
there.
the phone line. All right, so Joel's
Gracias.
going to leave for a second.
Fabulous.
So, yeah, we're going to find out what her interpretation is of this. Maybe we could have a caller who's listening live right now. We do have an audience of one, by the way. We want to welcome Anthony Lauber from Minneapolis, Minnesota, or actually somewhere near there. What little town do you live in?
Spring Park.
Spring Park,
Minnesota.
Okay.
See,
2,375.
2,375 people live there, and that doesn't even include all the fish. The fish outnumber the people
You're
by a lot.
kidding.
They ice fish there.
listen.
Yes.
How often does he fly to Los Angeles?
Quite often. Why, you have a lady for him? I do.
No, are you not married?
No, I'm not married.
Oh, I didn't know that. I assumed he's married and had kids.
Because he has that kind of way about him, like I'm secure in myself. I'm not searching. He's not a
Totally.
predator. I know you
Totally.
pick up on those predators, Sarah.
Yeah, get out of here.
You're good at that.
Yeah, I've got radar for predators.
Yeah, and he's not one of them.
No.
So I have someone for him.
Who?
What do you think?
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of like the dating thing. She went, "No, wait a minute
I
here.
don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know." You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do, and I think, are you really wanting to do that?
I showed the picture of her last night to him.
And?
You know I love fixing people up.
I know, but is this a good idea?
This is what we're going to do with our audience of one. If you're single,
Fix them up.
you want to join us. I have fixed up. Did you know I have 8 marriages under my belt?
You know,
I got one coming up.
Craig,
I mean, it's
I don't-
amazing. I don't know. I've got some sort of a talent in this department. I love fixing people up. I like when people are happy. So my whole life, that's what I got into, the business of making people happy.
I don't mean to discredit you as a matchmaker, but
Whoa,
when you
easy
tried
now.
to hook me up with one of your really good friends,
He
who
watches the show.
who was twice my age,
He watches the show. I wasn't a full-on fix-up. I didn't
It
feel
was
this one in the cosmos.
one of the
I gave it a
most-
little shot
then, let
because
me
you were
tell
so
you,
freaking horny at the time.
I was not, and that's a lie. And then,
we got to edit that part out?
and
That's a bunch
then-
of BS, and
Listen.
I can prove it.
listen,
What?
and then the next week he tried to fix my best friend up with him.
The same guy.
And now it's the same girl that
More
he's trying to fix
age-appropriate.
up with Anthony. So I think he just kind of throws everything
I do
out
not.
there.
Yeah,
and
it's
see
kind of like
what
it's kind of like a
sticks.
psychic. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I see a human being in your life. You just get really general, and then you go, and it's female. No, I think that sometimes I'm really on top of it. Oh, we have a caller? Wow, I love that. Somebody is listening live. Hello,
Oh,
Steve.
you can listen live.
Can Steve be connected to us? Yes, I can't believe this. We have high
I
technology.
love you just
going.
yell at the screen, Steve. Hello.
Well, it would take somebody in the other room, like an Angelo, to press some sort of a button that connects us.
Are you there, Steve?
It's live right now.
Steve?
Yes, I am.
There you are. Hi, Steve. Are you calling about... Listen, we go all over the place. We're only 14 minutes in, and we've had 19 topics.
Yeah.
Is it about ice fishing, perhaps?
It's how he sets
No.
people up. It's the same kind of
Okay,
thing.
Steve, what do you got?
Okay, here's what I got. Yesterday, Facebook put out these Facebook movies.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. I did one. I was going to talk about that. Interesting you should say that. I have that on my list. Facebook movies. It's right here.
Mine was so boring.
And it's like a magic trick, Steve. I said Facebook movies, and boom, you call in with that exact topic. Yes, so go ahead, Steve.
So anyway, about a few months ago, well, actually several years ago, a friend of mine took a picture of me wearing a cowboy hat sideways, making a funny face. Later on, I see Craig's picture on there, doing basically the same thing, playing a guitar. So
Yeah, but
I decided that I was going to put both pictures of myself on Facebook, on my own Facebook. Facebook decided to take Craig's picture and put it in my movie.
you mean me from 1981?
Yes.
That black and white photo shoot. Can you definitely get that? Put that up on our Laugh It Off podcast page, whatever it's called, on Facebook. Could you put that up? I would love to see that. So they took my photo that's never even seen the light of day on my own page, and they put it on your page as if you were the cowboy with the guitar.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Thank you.
Now, this isn't the first time this has happened. I have another guy. I have a photo of it. It's me and one of my commercial photos he uses for his Match.com profile.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I have it. I'll show it to you.
Please.
He uses me. I think he's in Texas, and I'll get it up for you in a second. So that didn't sound right. So Steve,
So I wanted to apologize for Facebook's error, and not that I'm using your face for anything other than just a resemblance of something that I took a few years ago.
yeah,
So not that
listen. If my face gets you anywhere in life, I'll give it the approval. I don't know what it's going to get you, but has anyone commented? You can't even recognize me because it's from '81.
Yeah, and it's funny because they apparently thought it was me, hence the reason why they did it.
Really?
And then I looked at yours, thinking, oh my God, maybe they put that same thing on yours as well, but they didn't.
Post it. Are you friends with me on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
Oh, see, that's why. So I guess they can
It's probably because that photo that he put of you got the most likes on his page, and that's what they do. Like, I think that's how
They do. They
pulled
do a
it.
lot of the likes because
Yeah.
mine was as if they talked to me ahead of time and said, we want to make sure we balance your kids out. So they put my other kid when he was born.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really weird how
Yours was really good and
saw it?
touching. Yeah, I watched it. And
It
then
was touching.
Mine sucked.
Oh, really?
I was like so boring.
Well, you've been
and
through
so,
a million different phases.
Yeah.
Did they have ex-boyfriends
Thank
on
God
there?
they did not.
Oh, my God. That would have been
That's what I was watching
That's the
for.
problem with it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You've been a member since '09, and here's how many people you've dated, Sarah. Let's do the whole montage of who
didn't-
Sarah's
yeah,
dated.
thank
And what
God.
would be really great if one of the people that you were supposedly dated was Steve in a cowboy hat with a guitar. That would really be great.
That would have been crazy.
Well, Steve, I really appreciate you watching us live and calling us. Can you be our audience of one someday? Do you live close by?
I'm in Arizona. I saw you when you played at the Improv.
Well, listen, you come into Los Angeles sometime and make sure you apply to be an audience of one. We are every week we're going to have someone new. Today it is Anthony. Steve, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Thank you. Appreciate you calling.
Anthony doesn't laugh very much.
Anthony doesn't?
No.
He's actually, I've watched him many times.
Oh, maybe I just can't see him.
No, you can't. You should see what's going on behind your back.
Bunny
He's not
ears,
only
I
laughing,
hope.
he's pointing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there you go. That's him.
Yeah.
So
the sound effects are great.
Did your girlfriend? What's going on, Joe?
I'm trying to convince her to call. She's saying that she has trouble hearing on the phone. She has trouble understanding people on the phone.
Oh,
like if she can't
but
see
she
your
doesn't
mouth.
have an accent.
I know, but
she even hears in an accent.
I'm trying to convince her. I'll be texting down here, try to get her to call.
Really? So
Yeah.
you're in a text war during our show?
Yeah.
With your
to
girlfriend.
try to spice up,
Listen,
add some
I don't
Spanish.
know
sauce.
if
You tell her that Craig says. Okay, Craig says to call in right now because we have to settle this debate, and we also have to move on.
Let's see how that works out.
Well,
Colin,
we'll
right now,
see.
I like your vest. I don't know if it's that important of a thing, like to not have
You
Joel's.
like his vest?
I do.
You're really making people watch now.
Yeah, his vest looks nice.
out of
It's
curiosity.
like a sweater vest, like a hoodie vest
I'm
without
not
the
down
sleeves.
with it. I'm not down with it. Well, I think it's the shirt underneath.
I like the shirt underneath.
Looks like Baby Gap. And I mean Baby Gap.
And I mean,
You know, I'm talking about the whole look of it, even how it fits too tight.
if Gap
like-
is listening, I'm the perfect sponsor
For
because
Baby
of my
Gap.
teeth.
Yeah, the only Baby Gap model with a beard.
Oh, I did get.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to tell both of you. So we did the living room show the other day.
Yes, yes,
And Nice living room, by the way.
Yeah,
Made me
right?
a little jealous.
I know.
Yeah, that was a really sweet spot.
Sweet house.
So no cover charge,
Right.
and yet you get these amazing, talented people, and you feed us, basically.
Yeah.
So someone pointed out to me, Craig Shoemaker, you make thousands a night. What are you doing here? So I said, I heard there's food. I don't know. I didn't know what to tell him except for that I love Sarah.
Yay.
That's why I'm doing it, because I was taking a weekend night off of what I get a month or a day or an hour.
Yeah, we appreciate
And
it.
so now I will tell you what happens. I have a hard time doing short time. And I've felt this way. You were talking about how I fix people up. This is related.
Okay.
I like when people are fully happy, not just a little happy. So that's why I do long shows on stage. It's very hard for me. If I do less than an hour and a half, I feel like I'm not completing the job. It's just like when I did have sex.
I was gonna say, can Craig's wife call and confirm or deny that?
She can't this year.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've been late in 14.
What?
In 2014.
Oh, it's new, and you just had a
I'm not
baby.
saying the excuse. I'm not saying the excuse or the reason. Yes, we have a baby.
It's like been a month. All right,
and
relax.
she has something going on too. She has something going on that's not going to happen for a little bit.
Like another baby.
No.
Beyond that.
Oh.
Like
Beyond that,
something downstairs.
yes.
Oh.
Like there's some.
Carriage.
Yeah, downstairs the shutter doors are broken. I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know. So anyway, yes, I have not. I don't really remember what it was like to.
Worst
to
fear
have.
that your vagina gets broken after childbirth.
It's
but
not broken.
it'll get
like
stitched
I said,
up.
Listen, shutters.
Stitched up in
No,
some
I don't
Kegels.
think that either. No, I don't. That's Kegels. She went to Kegel yoga yesterday. I don't think it's called Kegel yoga, but yeah, she went to postnatal yoga.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'll get some action soon.
From.
I'm not a big. See,
Oh,
that's the
that's
thing.
right.
I'm more of a pleaser, so that was never my big thing. Is every guy talks about that and all this, and I go along with it because I'm one of the guys. Yeah, she does that twice a day, twice a year. I don't even want it.
Yeah.
That.
Sure.
No, I want full. So no, not that either. Would you, Sarah?
Just helping
What do I do when you do
I'm
this?
just giving you options.
What do I do to you when you do
There's
this?
ear holes, I don't know. I'm giving you
So Sarah,
other shutter
what I'm
options.
trying to say is, when you do this, by the way, I go veer off of topic. Okay, I have stuff written down. I got show prep, and you make me
That's
veer.
Sarah. She's a potty mouth. Will
not-
you do your mom with me?
Craig, I listened to your show. First of all, your imitation is my mother. Your imitation of me is the worst I've ever heard. And you do a fantastic Jimmy Stewart. Now, why can't you go? Remember when you did the comedy skit with Jimmy Stewart as a horse race announcer? I thought that was very clever and original and very funny, and you're spot on. But with me, you're off. Just drop it. You got to drop that imitation. That's Sarah, by the way. I was listening. My God, I have people around me at an office, and that potty mouth on her. She's such an adorable looking girl. She seems very sweet.
Uh-huh.
And even her name is that.
Yeah.
And she says I couldn't believe she says the F word like it's the word, like it's an adverb. My God. Where'd you get her? I heard you found her in a spiritual center. I hate to go to that place. How about a church? Learn how to talk. My God.
My God.
Anyway, that's my mom.
We have another caller.
We have another call? What's going on? There's so much live action going on today. We still can't get Joel's girlfriend to call, who doesn't have an accent. By the way, you're going to crack up when you
Cutest
hear
accent. It's so adorable.
It's such a wonderful accent. Clark, hi. It's the Craig Shoemaker Show with Joel Geist and Sarah Sweet. Who are you? You're Clark.
Who are you?
Clark.
Yes.
Submit to me the reason for your call.
Well, I moved up to Washington State a year and a half ago. My wife and I have seen you probably a dozen times.
Whoa.
And we miss seeing you, and I was just wondering, number one, well, first of all, congratulations on your beautiful little girl.
Thank you very much. It's she's 3.5 weeks now, and it's pretty cool. Although I wanted to start developing more. I want some, I want some other things.
Oh.
It's like, all right, she did the poop, the fart, the sleep, and now it's like I want some more. I want some more on the resume.
If she looks anything, turns out to look anything like your wife, you're gonna have to have a shotgun at the front door.
Yeah, she already is. My wife said it this morning. She usually is a little more humble than that. She goes, "Oh, she looks just like me when I was a baby," and I'm going, "Uh-oh, that's not a good thing to say to a father."
You're a lucky man. Your wife is gorgeous. Your whole family is
by the time she's dating, I'll have arthritis and can't even pull the trigger. She's up on the screen right now. There she is. She's like a barnacle attached to my chest.
I know. I love that picture with the $100 bill. That was was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I put that one up. That she won big in the Super Bowl. She won the money.
Anyway, when are you going to be up in Seattle?
Guess what? I'm coming up in a couple of months. I will be at the Triple Door. Go to CraigShoemaker.com, and that one is selling out fast because a lot of the Seattle people are going, "When are you coming back?" Just like you, Clark. And I have to tell them, yes, that's where I'll be. I think it's somewhere around March or April, and you be there. Make sure the Triple Door is a beautiful theater, by the way.
Okay, yeah, my wife and I will get tickets because, like I said, it's been a year and a half, and I need to cry a little bit because I laughed so hard. So.
Well, listen,
anyway.
You had a great weekend this weekend. Those Seahawks look pretty good. You must be having a big old parade going on up there.
Well, I actually got to go to the game, so.
Excusez-moi, Mr. I Need Some Happy. That wasn't enough for you?
Well, my wife is a professor at the college in Ellensburg, Washington. That's why I moved up here and left California.
Uh-huh.
And I have a friend, actually a neighbor, that works in the front office. So I got to be the designated driver because I've been clean and sober now 30 years. And yesterday was my 30th anniversary.
All right. Where's the applause, Angelo? See, Angelo's big pot smoker. Angelo's big pot smoker. He's not going to applaud you for that one. He's going, "What are you talking about? You don't wake and bake every day?"
No, congratulations, yay.
Congratulations, 30 years. That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
30 years without a drink or drug. But anyway, a buddy of mine who works in the front office wanted me to be a designated driver. So he paid my wages for 3 days and paid the airfare, hotel, and basically I was a limo driver for a bunch of practicing alcoholics, basically.
Wow, that must have been fantastic. Well, at least you got to go see the Seahawks and go to the Super Bowl and have it all paid, and you just had.
And they made Peyton Manning look like an idiot, so that was.
I'm from
that
Colorado.
was icing on the cake.
Yeah. Did they? Well, anyway, Clark, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I will see you in Seattle, and congratulations, and on the sobriety, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. You just celebrated 26.
Well, yeah, I did. I love when people out me. I love when people out me on that stuff. Thank you, Clark.
We will see you in Seattle.
All right, thanks. I always have a hard time with that.
You've outed yourself on the show.
Not really.
Not really.
I try to dance around it.
Yeah.
Because I really believe in that's my own personal thing, but.
When that girl was on that you guys all wanted to bone and we had to say ribbit.
My God, can Sarah come up with another word besides bone?
Well, we had to say ribbit. You remember that one?
Yes, I remember.
But she was all about it, and I feel
she kept outing me also.
The episode that all came out.
All right. We have a lot to get to today.
A lot.
How have we not mentioned? We mentioned Squarespace. I'm going to talk about someone else who's helping our show. How did we not mention one of our... This guy's going to be in our opening. He's such a big guest. He's up there. He's got movies as many, like Sam Jackson movies.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Miller is coming in. I always have to look into young people's eyes to see if there's any recognition. You know who he is,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do.
He's been in 10,000 movies.
Yeah.
Amazing. You know, I'll talk to him about this. We were in acting class together,
oh, really?
both with 0 movies on our resume.
Nice.
That was so many years ago. I still have 0 on my resume. No, I'm kidding. I have a few, but this guy just went on. I couldn't believe it.
So funny.
How many? He is a funny dude and one of the funniest comedians like ever. And he's going to come on our show in the next hour.
The bearded guy.
The bearded guy?
Yeah. Did he have a beard for a long time?
No.
No?
No, Joel.
Oh, okay.
Think again. You'll see who he is.
Oh, I'm thinking of Dennis Miller.
Good God. Oh, good God. We should have Dennis Miller on, but he's not coming on this time. Okay, we'll probably have Dennis on. He lives in Santa Barbara, though. So, but Larry lives down the street.
Yeah.
That's who we get here.
Sweet.
People live down the street.
Local.
Except our audience of one who came in from Minnesota.
Just a
You can come in anytime you want, by the way, but you have to prearrange it. Just say audience of one, write to Craig at CraigShoemaker.com. But I must tell you that Craig has lost a couple pounds. Has anybody noticed?
Woohoo!
That's not the answer. That's not the answer, okay? Listen, we're sending this read to our...
Oh.
We're sending this to
got
them,
it. I
okay?
didn't.
Oh, yeah, I love Larry.
Yeah, I love.
Not... We're not sending the read with Larry Miller in it. We're sending the read as it stands by itself to the advertisers to show them the kind of work that we're doing here, the kind of efficient work we're doing to engage our audience into going to System LS.
Yes.
Many people on this planet would like to get well and get happy with their wellness and their body.
Get well and get
I do not
happy.
work out. I will tell you that right now. If we have a fitness sponsor, I probably would, but I don't. But I do take these shakes.
What kind of
I've
shakes?
been taking them. They're delicious shakes. You got a chocolate and you got a vanilla. I've done both. I also do these little pills that are fat-burning pills. It's a complete system of products designed to make losing weight easy and pleasant.
Really?
It's pleasant. You go to McDonald's and you go, I like a shake with those fries.
Mm-hmm.
This is without the fries and without the clown mouth.
And with the there are no clowns.
There's no driving up. You go into your pantry, you pull out the powder. System LS products are natural and organic. That's the best part.
And
These aren't
delicious.
made with little, chemicals and things. Some dude in a laboratory. I put something together. It will have people lose weight, but they will die early. But don't tell them that. Put it in the fine print. No, not here. It's organic. The very first day, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel better. You'll feel more energized. They carry all kinds of products, meal replacement shakes, multivitamins, and protein bars. Let me tell you something about the protein bars. I've been through them all. So you have no reason now to go to the store and pay them retail and pay their rent. You have no reason. You're going to take it from Craig Shoemaker's word. These are the most delicious ones I've ever had in my life. No aftertaste, no bitterness, no anything except delicious. And you're just going, this can't be good for me.
I want to try it.
I got to
love
bring one in for
protein
you.
bars.
On the air, that'll be in the next ad. It'll be you going,
Yeah, because I do. I love
Just as long as you don't
protein
go,
bars.
geez, I want to bone somebody now.
Oh, does it
My
make you
God,
horny?
the potty mouth on her. I have to take that out of the read.
Does it give you a higher sex drive?
I don't know that.
It could.
Well, let's hope not, because I ain't getting any. That's not part of the read. You get 24/7 support. That's another thing. Who gives support with weight loss and drinking shakes?
You need it.
You do.
Stay
They
on
give
track.
motivation. They give coaching.
That's
They have
awesome.
a special app for this. Okay, so listen closely. Okay, you're all gonna want. Everybody wants to lose weight. Just about everybody, right?
Just about.
Unless you're from Biafra. Is that even a country anymore? I'm messing up this read. It's one of those countries. Anyway, visit System MLS. That's System with LS. So System LS, not MLS.
System LS.
.com.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, System LS.
It's up on the screen. System
And you put in, there it is. Look at those shakes. They come in. I really like I even like the bag they come in because you can travel
Nourish.
easy with it.
That's
Okay.
nice.
And then you take those fat burning pills and vitamins, so you have everything all up in one. Now there's the promo code. It's up on our screen, but just in case you're just listening, you go to Wow, this is a lot. SLS Shoe 10. SLS shoe, like, you put a shoe on your foot, which, by the way, will have a lot less weight on it once you start these shakes.
Shoe 10 also works.
Shoe 10 will also work. Great. You don't need the SLS. I had talked to them about this. 10% off your products if you go there. And here's the best part. You will be helping our show if you do that. Because everyone here, just look at their faces. By the way, they lose weight because they starve because I don't pay them.
Oh, yeah, that's also a diet plan.
That's a different kind of diet plan. We don't want that anymore. We want these guys to get paid for the podcast. I wouldn't mind making a couple shekels myself, but that's okay. It's not about me. It's
I'm
about
very
these two.
curious about this motivation app. Seriously, I think that's awesome. Support and motivation.
Well, guess what, Sarah?
Yeah.
You can go there.
I will.
When you can afford it, when people buy this thing and
Yeah.
then we pay you, you can go there and you can get the app yourself, and they have 24/7 support that gives you motivation and so forth. How many people do that? And then you have these bars that are amazing. So look, that's the way to go. Thank goodness that they're one of our sponsors, System LS, coupon code SHOE10. Okay, now, is your girlfriend calling?
No, but she texted, and apparently we hit
In an accent?
in a hot button. You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. I'd rather have it read by her.
Well, yeah, but I guess since we were criticizing her accent, the only place in Spain that people change the S sound for the TH is Cádiz in the south, but saying that because we say Barcelona with the TH as a lisp is just wrong. C when it goes before an E or I is the sound that is absolutely proper way to pronounce it. In Cádiz, the only place in Spain, uses sound wrong. As far as I know, the King's Story is a legend about how the Z sound was born. There's no documentation about it, and it figures in all sources as a tale for kids. It seems that it was in the USA the first time this tale was heard, and it figures as a way to stereotype other cultures as you guys do that.
Wow, she really went off on this. That was all in a text message.
She is mad. Is there something under that?
She was thumb dancing like river dance. I mean, she really went. That was a whole thing.
It's just because we're more used to Latin Americans who don't do it, and that's, according to the Spanish, improper.
But did you understand anything that was just said?
Yes, I understood all of it.
I didn't get any
I
of
did
it.
because I'm being schooled by her on how to speak Spanish properly.
And I understood it because I was always teeming with resentment myself about other things, and I identified with it.
I did not get any of it.
That's because you're pure and spiritual.
You
Well,
stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard!
Wait,
Awful potty mouth.
Can we? I mean,
That
some
was
of his-
directed at me,
that-
Sarah.
It was
It was directed at me. You're stupid and ignorant, Craig, the host of the show.
okay, good, because it was gonna hurt my feelings.
It was not going to hurt your feelings. Guess what? I have an announcement to make. A lot of exciting things are going on.
Me gets pregnant.
Back to. Do I have ADD today or what? I got some ADD. I can't even blame this one on you. I came up with a new thing right in the middle of my sentence. I'll announce it another time. You'll bring me back to it. Somebody bring me back to it.
Oh, sure.
I want to talk about your living room show.
Oh.
Joel, you can now stop texting.
Okay. I was
Be
just
with
gonna
us.
say
Be
thank you,
present.
But I'm
Yeah,
I'm
tell her
done.
gracias.
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 So we go to this. Joel was in the audience, and I was telling you that it is similar. Performing is very similar to sex for me. Is I would always believe in full on. Like I would ask women, how many did you have?
Interesting.
Yes.
Good for you.
And there was a
her-
count. You know, if they give you a good count, if you're double digits, you're like a legend.
Do you have one of those like bouncer counters? You're like,
Yeah, like at the grocery store.
yeah.
You mean wait? You mean like 10?
Hmm?
Double digits?
Yeah,
you
like
mean
10 and over orgasms, and that would mean I
Impossible.
felt really fantastic. Oh, you're out of your freaking mind. I mean, women can do that.
Yeah.
You can have a few within a minute.
Get out of here within a minute.
Wow. This is really weird. This conversation got very uncomfortable all of a sudden because I'm kind of shocked. That was just to lead into the next thing. That wasn't like, oh, let's stop and pause and discuss this.
I mean, that's
because
a huge deal.
I was under the assumption that all women had 10 or more at a shot at an evening.
Are you freaking kidding me?
So not. I was just doing it to move on to the next thing. Are we going to discuss this now?
Yeah, well, it's up to you guys.
Joel, you've had 10 or more, right? Not yourself.
No.
By the way, there was some
Are you kidding me?
Dudes that have more than 2. I don't want more than 2. I'm good. I'm good with 2. Others, after that, it's pressure. But when women, it's no pressure. You have just the pressure release of you can have as many as you'd like. So if I get into double digits, I felt better about myself, and it's the same thing with doing an hour and a half performance on stage. Very similar, because it's better that way to have that many quote-unquote orgasms on stage, as I would call them, laughs. So I get a lot of laughs on stage, and it makes me feel good with the same, I would imagine, chemical reaction, similar, as one would have when they're having sex. And it lasts much longer, and it's much more euphoric. And I would imagine more endorphins would be released from the laughter. So the other day, to get back to your show, when you said, "Oh, Craig, you did really well, you killed it," and so did other people.
Everyone. Yeah.
I felt like I had just basically met them and had sex for 30 seconds and then said, "Sorry, I came too fast." That's what my feeling was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so these people are complimenting me, and I'm going, "No, can we go another round? Because my second boner is always stronger and longer lasting." That's how you feel when you do it, but that's how I feel. I don't think many people are like me in this department, but I feel like I've let them down and I gave them less than I have.
Yeah.
So do you now have a better understanding using your favorite topic as the metaphor for what I was trying to explain the other day?
Maybe you just have like a really weird, interpretation of how things should be, or that you're capable of, or that most people aren't capable of. Part of me wants to get back to you thinking that 10 orgasms for a lady in a night is normal.
No, I didn't say normal. Whoa. Let's not stay focused on that. Although we do have a Twitter from Kelly who says, "Do you think you can tell when a woman fakes it?" Yes, I'm sure these numbers in the 10 apparently were all faked. I know when it's not faked. I want to tell you one of the keys of knowing.
What is
This
it?
is something you've never heard before.
Okay, tell me, please.
I'll bet you. You know how a guy, Joel, we can go on forever, especially after your first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you can go on forever.
Sure.
So at first, I don't know, does this happen to you? At first, when you have sex with someone, you're thinking of things that are really kind of like off. They're really off, and so you don't think about the actual person you're with and how wonderful this is, because then you're going to go too fast. So basically, you're thinking of these things for their prolonged pleasure, as you're thinking of your grandfather in a casket. That was a very common one for me.
You're sick.
And I'm not lying. I'm telling you a story. So, you still like me being transparent? That's true. I thought of it a million times. I kept thinking, what's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life? Oh, my grandfather in a casket was a horrible thing. And if I think about it, oh my God, they put makeup on him and he looked better when he was alive. And I was thinking all these things. And in the meantime, I'm not thinking about, I'm not thinking about being nervous and going, whoops.
Yeah.
And it's happened a bunch of times. But now here what's happened the second time. Joel is not acknowledged one thing I'm saying. I'm hoping that the dude will go, I do that too. But he hasn't done that once.
I feel like I'm a very tactile person, so the thinking of bizarre things doesn't help me not get there faster. Because as long as I'm feeling it, it's going to happen
But you say get there faster like it's a goal.
No, I'm saying like...
You don't want to get there fast.
No, I know, but I do anyway.
You do
no matter
anyway.
what I'm thinking about, because it feels so damn
Well,
good.
I have those little tricks. I've done lineups of Philadelphia Phillies from the 70s. Honestly, I'll go. I'll say I think Richie Hebner should bat third because he's good contact hitter, and I'll say these things in my head and think of Richie Hebner. And he played third base and first base for the Phillies in the 70s. If he only knew. I actually know the guy. I should have told him that he's actually been in my mind's eye. Richie Hebner, Dick Allen.
Okay, so
everybody named Dick, I guess. I can't believe it. Why am I admitting all this? This is terrible. I was not planning on this. This was not on my show notes.
Well,
so listen.
Okay.
So that happens, and then the second time around.
Well, that's very generous of you to go a second time around for her.
Generous, because now I feel, are you kidding me? The codependent me, I'll put a splint on it before I leave.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen where she's going to walk out going, that was the best.
Yeah, I've got
so
the
now
codependency
second time
thing
around
too.
guy is the best. He's the one that can cause multiple orgasms because he can keep going like it's a machine, because now I have to reverse it. I have to reverse thinking about bad stuff and turn her into a cornucopia of women.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like your process.
You know what it is? You know what it is, Sarah?
What
it's
is
not
it?
that you don't like it. You don't like because I watch your mind. Let me just guess what your mind is
Sure,
thinking.
please.
Because you're not going, oh, Craig, and I think bad of him or anything. You're not even visualizing me. You're visualizing what guy did that with me.
Yes, absolutely. You got it. Ding, ding, ding. Of course.
I
Of
saw it
course.
in your eyes.
Yeah.
You're going, I think he did. Oh my God, it's making me sick to think this.
Yeah, that my boyfriend does that. I would hate that. That'd be, I mean, I'm sure it
Don't
happens.
ask
Ignorance.
him.
I don't want to.
I don't want to ruin anything.
Ignorance is bliss.
By the way, I probably ruined quite a few. Like, there's a lot of women right now who are listening to the show and going to their man and going, "You ever fantasize about anybody else?" The answer is always going to be no. I'll tell you that right now. Is that the real answer?
I
You could decide.
I don't want to know.
You know, so anyway, but apparently, look, I'm not speaking for all men, obviously, because look at Joel.
I think Joel's still caught in like the argument that just happened with his girlfriend. I
He is.
feel
He's
like
caught in
maybe he's
that.
checked
No,
out.
check in with him.
I'm fine with that. I think. I hope. Shit.
You mean to tell me that this texting argument that you just had might have an effect on your relationship?
No.
Over the accent
No.
that she allegedly does not have or doesn't think she has? She's in denial?
No. I think we're good there. I think.
Tell her she not only has an accent, it's one where sometimes you have to get in closer or ask her to repeat herself or just ignore what you think you heard.
No, I've gotten so
She's got a
used
heavy
to it.
accent.
Yeah, it is.
It's sexy.
I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. Can you say that?
Yeah, it's sexy.
All right, okay. You can say it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it. Can I say it?
Yeah, for sure. It's flattering no matter how old that person's.
So we. I wasn't referring to my age. Sarah.
I was totally
I was
kidding.
referring to the fact that I'm a dude, a heterosexual dude. Can
I
a
know.
dude tell another dude your woman's hot?
I got
Is
it. I was
that
just in going
appropriate?
in for a joke.
You just went in.
And
You went in for the joke because you're so mad at me passive aggressively because I just ruined your sex life.
Mad at all men in general.
So Sarah has this living room show the other day.
Good for you.
That is on my notes. Sarah's show, it says it right there.
Keep going back. You're
So
good.
Sarah has this living room show, and one of the guys was from Glee, and he and I did a little dreamlike thing in the back room. I don't know if you knew this. That sounded really weird.
Yeah, what
The guy that
happened?
plays the guy in the closet. No, he and I sang together
You did.
from Les Mis.
What did he sing? What part did he sing?
It's that confrontation thing, and he even had the name for it, of course, Mr. Glee, Mr. Broadway. He knew every word, and then I got intimidated, going, "Whoa, I'm not that great." And I did Javert, and he played Valjean, and then I
Yeah.
switched it up midway, and I went back to Valjean.
Keep him on his toes.
Keep him on his toes, and let him know I'm not just a comedian there, buddy boy.
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend did say to you that he'd love to see you do a full-on musical, a one-man musical on stage. You remember him saying that?
No, I don't.
Him and his best friend.
I was too busy
loved
staring
You.
into his blue
They're
eyes.
so blue. It's so
They're like
pretty.
absurdly blue.
Yeah, they're
so
beautiful.
blue that I think that it's not real.
They're real.
He's actually putting dye in there. There's something going on
Nope.
with those eyes.
No. But
The window to the soul. If those are the window to the soul, then his soul is filled with water from the
Magic?
Greek Ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, those seriously, those eyes are ridiculous.
they're so beautiful.
Yes, they're beautiful blue eyes.
I didn't
will admit.
actually really notice them too much when we first started going out. I feel a little bad about that.
You didn't notice?
Not really. I don't
That's
know.
the first thing I noticed, and I'm a
I know
straight
it's the
dude.
first thing everybody notices.
Oh, okay.
They comment on it all the time, and I think I didn't really ever think of it like that. Anyways, him and his
So he
best
thinks
friend
that I should-
loves you. Like they couldn't stop talking about you.
Really?
They thought
From
you
my
were,
10 minutes. My
couldn't-
short performance.
couldn't stop talking about
Of
you.
which I wanted to get it up and do it again. I was going to tell the crowd at dinner, because you have dinner afterwards, I was going to say, look, if you want to stick around, I'll do a whole show for you.
Oh my God.
Because you don't even know what you just missed. I just gave you a little taste. People were going, I was crying. I'm going, but I do an hour and a half.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and so anyways, they were.
So anyway,
they
he
loved
thinks
you.
that I should do a musical.
He said it to you. He's like, I would love to see you do a one-man musical.
I didn't hear that part. I was too busy staring.
Yeah, he's beautiful. I'll show
Okay,
you.
but anyway, so the guy from Glee, Max Adler,
Yeah.
he sang with me. Valjean, at last we see each other plain. And he said, I am warning you, Javert. I'm going, whoa, he's with it. He's with me. we're going at it now. And we had the confrontation. It was really cool. And he goes, I want to do that with you. I go, next show for Sarah for free.
Oh,
man.
for free.
I was going to say,
Did I let that out? Did I just let that out of bag?
Yeah.
how great would that be if you planted him? So once you get to that point of your act and he joins in, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, he's coming this weekend at
That'd be
the
so
Ice
great.
House. He's coming to the show. What a
people
perfect
go
thing.
nuts.
Oh my God. This is a
Nuts.
great idea. F the people. I'll go nuts. This is a personal thing for me. F the audience. This is one time I don't care about the audience. I care about me on this one. Hooray! You're damn right. I'm so in. I would go crazy if the guy from Glee, who's got this great voice.
It'd be amazing.
Which part do I play? I have to play Javert because I start off with that. That's how it starts off. I am warning you, Javert. Oh my God! And then he comes from the audience.
Craig's having a little orgasm right now, I think.
I have the end of it. You know how we can end it?
Why? How?
I play Eponine and he plays Marius, and I die in his arms.
I mean, maybe that's
Is
a
that
little much.
too-
Yeah.
I just see. You see how I operate? I don't want just the one song. You see, I don't want to leave him in one song. I want him to know I can do Eponine, which is not really saying much, is it? You wear different shades. Another word, Javert, before you tell me about change.
Oh, no.
Listen to me, there is something I must do.
This woman
Leaves behind a suffering child.
There is none but me who can intercede.
Wait, you want to play the other part?
This is all I need.
Can I return? I pledge my word.
I've heard these lyrics before Saturday.
That's Russell Crowe. I'm better than him. You, a man such as you. Come on, sing it, Max.
I don't know. I'm not Max.
A man like you can never change. I don't know who to be. Who should I be?
The one that you sing the best.
That's enough.
But if
Oh, that's
this
the
was,
confrontation. Can you see me and Max Adler doing it at the Ice House this weekend?
Yeah.
I won't tell people which show because then you'll go to all of them.
Well, tell me though, so
I'm
I
at
can
the
pick
Ice
one.
House this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Max Adler is coming to the show. I'm going to have him do that with me.
Awesome.
Oh my God, unrehearsed. Thank you. Maybe we should rehearse.
Rehearse, probably.
All right, maybe we should rehearse. Yeah. But you don't think that I should add? That would be the funny part of it, right? If all of a sudden I said, let's do Eponine and Marius, and then he looks at me funny, but he probably knows
And
the
then
Marius.
goes into
and
it.
I go into it,
Yeah.
and I go, don't you fret, Monsieur Marius. I don't feel any pain. A little fall of rain can hardly hurt me now. And he goes, I'm here. That's all I need.
No, too much.
It is
Yeah.
too much. Not fun.
Well, not with like a big enough bop at the end. Like there would have to be a turn or something at the end.
Oh, because the song fades out and she dies.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
yeah.
little downer for
the Ice House
show.
I mean, but unless you had like a very great joke after that, right after that, to tie it in. I'll think about it.
Maybe someone will call in or write in the great joke that ends the Eponine dying in Marius's arms. Hey, listen, there
With
ain't no
the guy
jokes in
from
that damn
Glee
movie.
on stage.
The play has no jokes. It's the most depressing play ever.
No, it'd have
and
to
my
be
favorite
yours.
of all time. You realize if you watch the end of the movie, they're all dead.
Yeah,
it's like all the
very-
ghosts are on the wall. Do you hear the people sing?
That's a great song.
The songs of angry men. And you see them all there, and they're all happy because they're alive ghosts. It's another zombie movie. By the way, let's get into... I don't want to get...
Are we taking breaks at all?
We're going to take a break, Sarah.
Just kidding.
You know what's so funny about Sarah is you can really tell when she starts to fade because out comes the Mountain Valley granola bar and her electronic cigarette and the phone gets turned on. So you
got a
can
camel
tell when the break's coming. You don't need a clock. You just watch the doe eyes. The doe eyes start darting around. She starts getting disinterested, and she's going, "I need that granola. I need to get on that phone, and I need a puff of my electronic cigarette." Which now she's not even waiting. She's doing it.
I mean, it's
You know,
been an hour.
It's not like you're hiding it. It hasn't been an hour yet. We're coming close to an hour. Larry Miller is coming in soon. By the way, Larry Miller, is he here?
He's on his way.
He's on his way.
Who I do love.
Hear the
Now that I
people
remember,
sing.
now that I'm on the same page, he's
I wonder
awesome.
if Larry sings. By the way, Larry, we do a lot of things about obstacles on our show,
Yeah.
about getting through pain and obstacles. Are you aware of what his was? Really close to death, your favorite word, recently.
Whose favorite word?
Joel.
Mine? Okay.
Didn't Joel bring up, he said, remember what you said, Lorraine Newman? Oh, you could die after you do that show.
Yeah.
Well, Larry almost did.
From?
He fell. And we're going to get into that when he gets in here. I can't wait to hear. He's making a recovery now, but he
Recently
fell.
very recently,
Oh, wow.
in really, really bad shape. And most people were wondering if he would make it. So I don't know how morbid you get when you say that. Do I say that to him? Yes, I will.
Yeah, that's
And if I don't, he'll listen to the show and hear that I said it anyway. So
He
that's what I
won't
love
listen,
about podcasts.
will he?
What do you mean he won't listen?
Will he go listen back?
I listen to one out of every. Never. I never listen to this. Okay. All right. I want to talk about Squarespace. A couple new things to announce with Squarespace, okay? All right. Just pay attention for the next few minutes, Sarah, and then you're going to go on a break. And then we're going to play
if
Larry
you're
Miller on
talking
the
about
break. So you'll see
Squarespace.
Larry Miller at his best, okay? They have a new feature to add to their already amazing site. So Squarespace, it's called Squarespace Logo. Now it's easier than ever. They create a logo for you. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Isn't it amazing how I read this for the first time and it looks like I'm looking at the two of you in the eye? This is when you, by the way, would rather listen to the show and not watch, as I dart my eyes down and pretend I'm not reading. Check out. Okay. Now it's easier than ever to create a logo for your latest project. Check out the ones our producer made in a matter of seconds. Bring our attention to the monitor. Did our producer actually make one?
He did. They'll
Really?
come up in a second.
Is there a logo? Producer.
They'll get up there.
Is it up?
There's one.
Look at that. Oh! My big fat head wasn't in the way. Look at that. They came up with that. That's where that came from. I thought that came from somebody in art class.
He made it in seconds.
So in seconds, you can do this too on Squarespace. I can't wait.
Stefan's not so bright.
This is
he can
awesome.
do it in seconds. That's amazing. Just kidding.
He's not listening to the show anymore.
There's another one. The Craig Shoemaker
Look at that.
Show. Keep laughing.
What's the square about? I get it.
Squarespace. So we bring your attention to that. If you are only listening, trust me on this one. Stefan made this logo. He made 2 logos in a matter of seconds.
And we just told you he's not very bright.
And so test out your own logo. Visit squarespace.com/logo. They've also made the help section even easier. Guides and videos have been added to assist you in learning all the tools. You can even search and rate articles within the discussion board, which gives valuable feedback, right?
Yeah.
And it helps you improve the overall site.
Love it.
You can build your own site for anything that requires extra attention. They have customer care 24/7 ready to help you. Squarespace, it's everything you need to make an exceptional website. And I mean everything. Tell them Craig Shoemaker sent you. By the way, how do we do that? How do we tell them Craig Shoemaker sent you?
Squarespace.com/laugh-it-off.
We need to put that in there, okay, Stefan? I know you're busy making a logo, okay? You're making your Squarespace logo. You want to make a logo on how we can get credit for this, so we can get these guys a new T-shirt and Joel a new baby
Out of
cap.
my baby cap.
So you put Laugh It Off. That's the name of our show. You put that in the coupon code, okay? And you will get, what do they get?
10%.
10% off. You sure? I think it's more than that. Just go check it out for yourself. All right?
Just roll the dice.
Squarespace. I'm so into it that I'm doing 3 new websites myself.
Wow.
Myself, okay? I'll have 9 people helping me, but it'll be by myself. And I'm going to have my whole family do it. I'm getting one for my son. We could just keep doing websites because these guys help you, and it's so inexpensive, and they help you all throughout. Okay?
Nice.
Great
Love it.
customer support. We're going to come right back with Larry Miller. We're going to show a little clip of Larry Miller. More of the Craig Shoemaker Show. With Sarah Sweet and Joel Geist. And by the way, promote us. No, that's what you want me to do. Folks, rate us on iTunes. Please, would you do that? Rate us on iTunes. It's really simple to do. You go to iTunes, just rate us. Give us a 5, okay? If you're going to give anything less, give it to Adam Carolla. Okay, the guy makes millions of dollars. All right, so rate us, give us a nice review and all that, and pass the word around. Look, we give you free entertainment. Give us a little something back, okay? It's such a little something. Rate us on iTunes. Spread the word about us. Let me see on your Facebook wall. Let me see how you posted wow, I listened to that show today, I watched it, and it was a lot of fun. It got me through my day. They inspired me. They did whatever to me. Craig told me what guys are really thinking when they're having sex. You could say any of those things, all right? So spread the word. We're coming right back. Hey guys, Craig Shoemaker, CraigShoemakerShow.com. Laugh it off. I am here to talk to you about Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime offers thousands of free streaming movies and free 2-day shipping on anything you order from Amazon.com. Now, for a limited time, you can try Amazon Prime absolutely free for 30 days through our website. You go to our website. You visit CraigShoemakerShow.com and click on the Downtown Abbey banner. That's the Downtown Abbey banner, as opposed to all of the other banners we have up. You might be the only one. You can start your 30-day trial. It's that easy, okay? That's how simple it is. Even a tech fool like me can do this. You get to try something risk-free and support our show at the same time. I know you want to support our show because it's free, okay? So this is a way that you can benefit and just give us a little hand. That money that Sarah just made and Joel just made came from my pocket. You don't want that to be the case anymore, so give us a little hand. Doing this show you love the Craig Shoemaker Show. Help us out. You can even stream those same movies instantly on your tablet, game consoles, smart TVs, and Smerry. You can do that by just going to there. Don't forget, if you happen to miss this offer, be sure to check back on our site regularly. I never like that word. Let's take that word out of our script. Regularly. You think I have a big agent. I hope they're not listening right now. And we'll have more deals for you in the future. Remember, CraigShoemakerShow.com. Click the banner, and you get to save and also have a 100% free trial. Now, I got to do this, by the way. Somebody write this down for me. Thank you so much for your support. More of the Craig Shoemaker Show coming right up.
Older every day. And so, we drink. And we drink. And then we drink some more. There are 5 levels of drinking. 6 if you live in a trailer park. Okay. But never mind that now. We will deal with 5. See if these look familiar. Level 1. Let's say it's 11 o'clock on a weeknight, you had a few beers. You get up to leave because you have work the next day and one of your friends buys another round. One of your unemployed friends. But here at level 1, you think to yourself, well, as long as I get 7 hours sleep, I'm cool. Level 2, midnight. Had a few more beers. You've just spent 20 minutes arguing against artificial turf. You get up to leave again, but at level 2, a little devil appears on your shoulder. And now you're thinking, hey, I'm out with my friends. That's important to me. What am I working for anyway? Oh, besides, as long as I get 5 hours sleep, I'm cool. Level 3, 1 in the morning. You've abandoned beer for tequila. You've just spent 20 minutes arguing for artificial turf. And now you're thinking, our waitress is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Oh, you have no idea. To see, at level 3, you love the world. You feel so good. On the way to the bathroom, you buy a drink for the stranger at the end of the bar just because you like his face. You get drinking fantasies, you come back, hey fellas, if we all bought our own bar, we could live together forever. Yeah, but at level 3, that devil's a little bit bigger. And he's buying. And you're thinking, well, oh, come on now. Oh, come on here now. As long as I get 3 hours sleep and a complete change of blood. Cool. Level 4. 2 in the morning. And the devil is bartending. For last call, you ordered a bottle of rum and a Coke. You are artificial turf. This time on your way to the bathroom, you punch the stranger at the end of the bar just because you don't like his face. And now you're thinking, our busboy is the best looking man I've ever seen. You and your friends decide to leave right after you get thrown out. And one of you knows an after-hours bar. And here, at level 4, you actually think to yourself, well, oh, as long as I'm only going to get a few hours sleep anyway, I might as well stay up all night. That'd be good for me. Nah, I don't mind going to that board meeting looking like Keith Richards. I'll turn that around, make it work for me. Oh, besides, as long as I get 31 hours sleep tomorrow. Cool. Level 5. 5 in the morning. Successful.
You know, that music, I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that one. Maybe you can vote if we should keep that music. To me, it sounds very newsy, like JohnLovitzComedyNetwork.com. Tune in and check out some recent episodes with guests like Tom Likas and Justin Willman, the host of Cupcake Wars. We will soon stream from there. Craig Shoemaker, all in one place. Thank you. That's what it sounds like to me.
But that was true information.
That was true information.
It sounded like he was being sarcastic.
Delivered
but
like
it's
a
true.
sarcastic news character.
Yeah.
But we have Larry Miller is here. Larry, first question I want to ask you is, when you walked in here, we were playing your clip.
Yes.
How are you about that?
About me being on TV?
Have you accepted this?
Yeah. I think more is good.
Yeah.
You know what, by the way, Sarah just said it's so funny. It's true. As you were doing that bit or announcing or making a parody of what the music made you think of, I like show business. I love it. And even though I'm here, I'm on the show, I was looking at him thinking, gee, he's pretty good.
As the news guy, you would cast me as that?
No, as just someone being funny.
Oh, okay.
And I was listening, and then I realized, wait a minute, eventually he's going to ask me something.
Yeah, a lot of something.
But I think it's wonderful that it's on TV. I think that if you
we're on
find
TV
something...
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We have a good time here. It's a nice little space, and so your podcast, which I listened to today, you listen to it, and you do this from your living room. What kind of a situation? You go over to Corolla's?
Let me think. No, it's a studio.
It is a studio,
yes,
Glendale.
In Glendale, it's Adam Carolla's place. It's,
I've been there. Yeah.
Ace Broadcasting, and I love the guy. I like being.
You go in there and do it by yourself, as opposed to we have a whole.
That's why another thing I was impressed by the way, I do it by myself. I have producer Jeff Fox and Chris, the sound man, and we do it in Adam's studio.
And they do a lot of post, as they call it. For those of you who are listening for the first time or understanding Hollywood, that means in post production they can add some of the sounds and they don't do that on the spot.
I'm not sure you followed though. It's me doing it. So they have no
You
need
do the
for
post as well?
No, they have. I'm just being
But
silly.
you're not putting your sounds in there.
No,
I want some music.
Jeff does that, and he does a great thing with. It's great when a producer can find sound effects that when we do things and you say, it'd be good to hear like an old timpani, bum 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 bum, and there's someone who does that.
Yeah. I just pointed. I thought he was going to be very clever and give you the bum.
No, it has to be
because we have that.
Yes, but apparently it has to be someone who likes you. So, when you point, he's just
yeah.
I was trying to be subtle about the point. I was
You notice
underneath of they call them lower thirds. I was pointing at Angelo, thinking, wow, how clever that would be if the timpani actually played at the exact moment.
It would be very cool.
And if it matched with your timpani.
It would be nice and cool. But if you look closely, he's doing a crossword puzzle. So I'm not sure that...
We're waiting for those sound effects.
So in any case, I love the world of podcasting. I think it's perfect for people like us to think, and I mean especially as comics and as an actor and a writer as well. I just love the podcast world.
You know what I talked about yesterday with a friend, speaking of podcasting world, is one of the things that we have to the advantage is we don't have a corporation that is squeezing us to not talk about any subject we'd like to talk about.
That's right. And
they have many.
Yes, but I don't. So
right,
I mean I don't have
Nothing.
things that everything in the world that I talk about in my act is possible to talk about in the podcast. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Whatever movie I just saw the weekend before, we have a little game, games we play. But I like being there alone. Eventually, will I have guests? Sure. And
you don't have guests yet. You haven't had guests. I'm sure you've had Corolla on. That's sort of like your.
No, actually, it's we just
really?
do it and. No, and he keeps asking. But,
it's even called the Adam Carolla Network, and he's asking to be on his own network.
But no, you know what? I love the whole creative world he's set up, and he and all his folks there.
It's great.
And by the way, my show, if people want to listen, is called This Week with Larry Miller, and it's on iTunes for free, and or our website, which is LarryMillerPodcast.com.
Great.
I love that, and I say it every week, by the way, because it makes me think of when I say LarryMillerPodcast.com. Then I always say shave and a haircut 2 bits after that because it has the same rhythm of LarryMillerPodcast.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, guys, I just love the whole
I don't have
world
that.
of.
I need something like that.
We'll
Craig
get you one
Shoemaker
today.
Show.
We'll get you one today.
Yeah, maybe I could do a Broadway-esque.
No, we'll make it here now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just sort of ad-libbing. Maybe I'm very Broadway-ish. So is there any way we can sort of put a tune to it?
If you're Broadway-ish, then and so am I. I think so are all.
Are you
creative
really?
people? Sure. I've worked on Broadway.
Me too. What did you do?
I was in a Neil Simon play with John Lovitz and
Lovitz
and Len Cariou and Penny Fuller. It's a great play.
I remember
It's called
that.
The Dinner Party.
Yeah.
At the Music Box Theater, which was made and lived by Irving Berlin. I'm saying this because it's very thrilling to people like us also to say, I love acting. I love being in movies and on TV. I love being in theater. But let's face it, when John Lovitz brings you in to meet Neil Simon, and you talk for a while, and Neil Simon says, "Yeah, he'll be good," and that's it. That's pretty cool.
That's how you were cast? Didn't have to read?
No,
he'll be good?
Well, a deeper version of that, but I mean,
Okay.
he'll be
Well,
really
you have a body
good.
of work. That's how deep it gets. Well, you have a body of work that he basically could see you in the part.
It was just
easily.
wonderful to meet him and hear that and say,
Yeah.
how do you like that?
Yeah.
I and my family and wife and kids went to New York to live in an apartment and be on Broadway.
One of the things about Broadway is you sort of have to go with the esteem of being on Broadway is wonderful, but then you get the first paycheck and you go, wow, this is quite a cut I'm taking for the esteem.
You
and
know
then
what?
when they don't give you tickets for your friends, for the comp list, they say, well, I can get you on a list that you'll pay face value.
Now that you've ruined the memory, you know what, though? I dug it all. I mean, the truth is that
you're okay with
the
pay cut.
I'm not saying I had one.
Really?
But you know what the point
From your stand-up.
But the point is, though, being in show business, we often get paid very well.
Right.
Very, very well. So the chance to be
right
in the Music Box Theater on Broadway in a Neil Simon play, the only one thing you want to say is, come on.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. So,
It'd be like you would play in the Super Bowl for nothing, right? Because if you were an athlete.
Yeah. And
sure.
So I'll tell you something about that area, though, the Broadway Show District, that they have all the cops there chose to be there because they're hero cops who saved people's lives or got shot in their regular duty, and then they get a choice.
Yeah.
They can do stadium duty at either Yankee Stadium or with the Mets, or they can go to the Broadway Show District. And
I didn't know that.
And which is a pretty neat choice.
How do you get on the list? How does the list work where you become where you can have your first choice? It's the people that
By
take the
getting
most
shot.
risks.
No, you have to get shot.
So you
They've been shot.
Yeah, see now, here we go. There we are.
So basically,
unless
if I
someone
see,
was actually shot.
If someone is guarding my door on Broadway,
right,
I could ask him where his bullet hole is on his body. He's got a bullet hole.
Plus, they're really happy to be there.
Yeah.
After 6 months or a year, because they've realized, like our guy Patrick, these are good cops. These are tough guys. And our guy realized he wanted to meet a lot of the Hollywood people who were coming east to be in a theater on Broadway. And I'm saying that because that's the way I felt about it. But he realized that after about a year, they weren't so much fun to hang out with. that they were really not that thrilled.
You not being one of them, but some of the
right,
other
I was.
actors were
Lovitz
not.
was. And a lot of the other folks weren't fun to hang around with because they're thinking I'm in a small dressing room and I gotta make sure the reviews are this or that. There was when I came.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to tell you this. When I came for the premiere shows and to meet everyone else in the theater there, so I'm walking. You're in Schubert Alley. All these phrases that mean so much for Broadway shows, and there was one of the theaters had just let out, and it was kind of crowded, but not bad. And there was one of the cops on horseback, which I've never understood anyway. But there you are. That's just me.
Right.
You know, you're on horseback, right in front of the theater. Why? But the point is, he was great, and he called over to me. I was 20 or 30 feet away, and he goes, "Hey, Larry, good to see you. Nice to meet you. You open on the 15th, right?" And I thought, well, how do you like that? These guys are agents. They know everything.
Yeah.
And he said, "You open on the 15th?" He said, "Premieres will be fine. And you're going to get a lot of these people there." And they all kind of applauded. And so I walked to the theater. I said, "Gee, thanks very much." And then when I walked to the theater, and they said, "Would you like to meet everyone?" And I said, "I think I just did." And that was a neat feeling of you're in a home now, and everyone feels it's their home too. And I thought that was great.
When you play those theaters, I don't know about you, but a feeling comes over you. You think? Have you ever thought about the people from the past that shared that
absolutely.
stage,
Yeah.
and shared that dressing room?
Always
I mean,
do. Yeah.
I just played the Wilbur Theater in Boston. They said that's where Brando lived.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of them, like you just said, Irving Berlin lived there.
Yeah.
They didn't have an apartment, so they would just, they would bunk there at the theater.
They could do anything there, but it was just great. And to know that no matter what you did after the show where you could go to a bar in the area there and have a drink. And I did that once or twice. No more.
Okay.
Once or twice a day. But no, I mean, it was wonderful.
I'm not your dad. You don't have to do that. He actually looked at me directly as if I was his father, and he was hiding liquor from me when he was 12.
I already tried
once or
that
twice
with my dad when I was a kid. It didn't work.
How about the old holding it for a friend? Have you even bothered? Did you even bother with that one? I never understand how kids can just keep passing that stupid one on. I'm holding it for a friend.
No, it's well, all things go on. It's sort of like
I know what they do.
How many teachers for 100 years or 200 years have heard my dog ate the homework?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's exactly in that same area of how many teachers must have heard that by the first letter in the word ate, my dog ate. They could hold their hand up and just say, please, please.
I did this one. I've done that one.
That's right.
I mean, that's the thing. If you've done all of these tricks, that's what my kids do not have it made with me, because I have a very good memory about the things that I did. So now it's kind of like being a spy. I'm one up on them on all of the things. I know hiding spots. I know how you hide things. You know, right? Don't you with your kids?
No.
You
What
have some
hiding spots?
You know where you stash. It's called the stash. You know what I mean? No.
No.
Oh my God, you're in denial. I hate to tell you, your children are right now. They're
Where
hiding
are they
things from you.
stashing it?
Well,
What kind of places?
I know where the stashing places are because I think like them because I was them minutes ago, or so I think.
Yeah, I thought maybe you could help Larry out with where his kids are stashing.
Well, he's already helped me. When I leave this show, I'm going to go home and tear it apart. No, they don't.
I've ruined your kids' lives.
I don't. This is going to sound outrageous, but I don't think they lie about things like that.
Well, this generation doesn't as much. But did you?
No.
When you were that age?
Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's how I got into comedy, because I was not a very good kid, and apparently you were. You weren't a criminal?
No. I had some of my friends got one of their fathers got Playboy. So this is about 64, 65 or something like that. And we were just kids, so when they brought up, he had saved the centerfolds from those magazines.
Right.
My friend did. So he had 30 or 40 centerfolds from the big bullseye era to me. Anyway, and that's when you're 12 or 14.
All right, explain what a big bullseye era is.
See, this I can lie about.
I'm around from that era, and I don't know what he's talking about, so I'm interested in his...
Is it a big bush? Is that what
There
it
was
is?
your sound effect. That was the timpani. He's on a delay. Okay.
Listen, I'm just glad you heard it too. Because you might have said, "Wow, is that the last?"
We
thing
are from that era too. It was
before you go to heaven or something. I thought it was like a little bell. Yes, he's with the angels now. Instead of that recording, did you hear that? Why no? Yeah, bam! You just hit the floor.
I could have done that to you. What do you mean?
But I had these. They gave me. We were kind of a regular suburban little league area. Tough kids. But regular, nothing really crazy. And they gave me the centerfolds. The point is, my sister and I had a fight one night on a Wednesday or something, and it was just I love her. We get along great, but she was mad at me, and she knew. So she came in to the den where I was sitting with my dad, and she came in with a stack. That's all the centerfolds.
Yeah.
And then they're folded and they were in a stack. I mean, I'm neat about this. So the point is that, and I was, I guess, about 12 or 14 or something.
Yeah.
And she just said, "Oh yeah, well maybe Dad wants to see these." And she was being, angry, and she threw them down on the den floor and kind of stormed out. And I knew what they were. I said, "Oh, there's the centerfolds," but before I could say anything, my dad just glanced over and said, "Playboy." Come on, Larry, Playboy. But he wasn't mad. He started laughing and thought,
right,
that was
Did
just
she
pretty
think
funny.
she thought she was going to get you punished?
Yeah, and I don't
like you'd be grounded for that. In the meantime, your father's going, "I don't have Miss May."
I would like to
Thank
see
you.
those. Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
And I wasn't. There was no fear there. It wasn't a fear type of house. We just had a regular Bigger the place. But I don't fault her for that. She was trying to.
How in the world did you end up in comedy? You have no crime record. I felt like I had to submit a
thought of
rap
that.
sheet of my first
I know,
time on stage.
I know.
But no, and you had a nice, normal child. I talked about this week as well. So yesterday I was on a podcast, and it's basically, what do comics have in common? I said, well, you can't talk about coming from pain, which that's where my space is. But if Seinfeld, and he's a good friend of yours, came from basic normalcy, right? And you as well, right?
Exactly, and I've never agreed with that way of
premise.
looking at comedy.
Right.
You know who had the most normal, nicest backgrounds is the Marx Brothers or the Stooges. You know, they weren't wealthy; they were from poor homes, but they were what happened when you're born in a 6th floor walk up with 25 other brothers in 1902.
Right.
So
That's how
they
lived.
had normal. They were, Dad would cook something.
But I would debate that a bit, because you are inspired to, just like an athlete who's born in the ghetto today. They aspire to. It drives them. It drives them to play more basketball, to get out of there. That's their ticket out. That was their ticket out.
Fair enough.
Was the arts, is somewhere in the
Fair
arts,
enough.
and it became a motivating factor. What was yours
Well,
that led you out of those suburbs and having to sleep in the same wing as your brother?
Well, I always like the old.
What did it? What did it for you?
I like the old black and white English movies where there was always the crazy aunt in one tower. They're living in 12 Oaks, we call it. And then they go, "Don't open that door." That's where Aunt Martha lives. Well, what's wrong with her? We don't talk about her. Because in 1840 or 1880 or 1910, you didn't talk about someone who was loony.
Yeah.
No.
You put her in the West Tower, and that's why she was so mad. If someone let her out or went up there to see her, her first reaction was going to be, well, I could tell you about this, but first I'd really like to kill you. And so, I like those old movies where some relative was wrong. That was their fear. That was the star's fear in the movie that, well, I can't marry you because when I turn 35, in our family, we lose our minds, or we go we go to the evil side, or something like that. So it wasn't like that in my family. Look, you know what? All comics do have the same things.
What's that?
I have the same. Oddly enough, with the microphone, I'm going to tell you. But the same thing is, I and you, even though we didn't do this, I and you are just like George Burns playing violin on a street corner when he was 7 and getting pennies and nickels for it. And we would have done that too. And whether you're good at all, whether you can even do it at all, that was them starting from scratch.
Sure.
They didn't say, why, if I fight hard enough, I can get out of this horrible life. They didn't think it was a horrible life. Their families loved them, they loved them, and they just didn't want to do things like go to school. I remember reading that Harpo's autobiography. That it was a great book anyway, but that he was saying that, well, they used to grab onto bus bumpers on the back and to take them downtown. I thought, holy mackerel, if you think today, if you tell parents today, how'd you like your kid to grab onto a bus bumper when he's 8 just to go down 7 or 8 miles in Manhattan in 1903?
I did that. I loved it. We called it bumper hopping. I loved bumper hopping.
You did that?
I would train my kids to do that today if I didn't think I was going to be arrested. Absolutely. There was not much danger in that.
Well, there's no...
You could literally, if they stop at the stop sign and they were going east and you wanted to go west, you would just go pick up the one who's going west and get on their bumper. Certain bumpers were better than others. Certain you had to grab under and certain you had to grab over. But you wear slippery shoes in the snow, and you can, just like a water skier, you can go forever.
Well,
you never did that?
Exactly. No, it's always
What the hell happened in the suburbs to you?
It's always been just a crazy dream. But what we all have in common is the way to describe what we think and what we do.
Yeah.
The way to see. First of all, that's neat that you did that. But the way to see life. If someone has a comedy special now, I can see someone on who I just think is funny. I think he's great. Now he may be describing what it's like to be shot outside of a dance club. Now, if someone just stopped the TV then and just said, well, Larry, what's your experience in being shot outside of a dance club? And I would say, honestly, well, first of all, I'm the shooter. But that's for starters. But I wouldn't know anything about that. But I loved this guy because he's funny, and he's making it funny the way he thinks and sees.
Right.
So he and I are exactly the same.
Yeah.
If you stood me up with a guy who's the president of or a professor of economics at an Ivy League school and say, so you guys are kind of like each other, I would say, gee, not at all. I'm just like the guy who got shot outside the dance club because we look at things and write and perform and do it the same way.
What do you think, though, is underneath of all of that drove you into, like, for instance, you could have done that because you have the intellect to do that.
Well,
but what drives you to seek attention, for instance? I mean, was there a lack of that at home? Give me something that I can talk to you and charge you $100 an hour. Please, something that came from your childhood.
First of all, you're wrong. Is that something you were looking for? You know what, though? It is wrong because there's nothing that, in my case, I'm coming back from something dark and odd, too. What it is, I don't know. And I think what comics have in common is not that they're fighting where they were. I think they're describing where they are. I love the thought that a good comic for the last 100 years, especially when I think of American comedy, and that's where what we see as comedy has come from.
Yeah.
That, well, out of vaudeville and burlesque, and sure, and guys coming out there and going, hey, it's good to see you. You know, it's funny. And they might have had a different speech pattern, but they had the same thing. They got together for lunch at, sure, it was a deli and they had cheesecake, but they're the same as us, really. And that's what it was. That's what it is today. When someone asks me today, when a young comic says, hey, I'm just starting out, you know, what advice do you have? And I always say the same thing.
I want to hear yours, yeah.
Well, it's it's the best I can do. I think it's very true. I say, listen, write jokes, tell them. If they're not funny, rewrite them. Now go home. And there's always a question, no, to get on the Tonight Show. But to get on the Tonight Show,
why'd you look over
there?
Did you hear something, Larry?
Yeah.
I heard nothing. Okay.
No, it's funny. If I was thinking I was in the life of a vaudevillian. But I think that's a great kind of way to think and live.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you need to know. Well, do I call the producer? Don't call anyone.
Oh, I do something similar to that, but I tell them, go be you. Figure out who you are. And that is the person that's in a podcast. You're being interviewed by a radio disc jockey that doesn't listen to a word you're saying. That's the one who's up in front of 5 people or 5,000 people. That guy is responding. That person who you know authentically to be you, get to know that. And that's my advice that I give them. The same thing, though, is go home, forget about the agent. They always want to go, I need an agent.
Yeah, just
if they only knew what an agent really does.
Breathe in, breathe out, just go home. And I think it's also not being afraid of. We've had some weird jobs, but never. I was. This is the first road job, corporate job I had. There was a convention. I was performing in front of the state troopers in Iowa. And their wives. It was 2,000 people in a big domed ballroom in I think it was a Moline Hilton, but very nice folks. And I'm standing in the back there in my little sport jacket, and I'm standing next to a trooper who's all dressed up in that great trooper outfit because they have the big belt that goes across the chest there with the bullets in it, and that chest that Norman Rockwell always drew, where front to back it's 3 feet. It's very big, and he's not muscular, but you wouldn't want him mad at you. And so he's standing next to me, fully dressed up, and in the jodhpurs and with the hat on, or cap. And the guy running the event, so it's a couple thousand people in this big ballroom. The guy running the event comes, all right, now before we bring on our entertainer, last week, as you know, young Danny McFan was shot and killed in the line of duty. And I'm in the back with my hands crossed, and we're both looking up, and I turned to the trooper and I just said, I'm a comic. And and he said to me, shh. Now, And then he leans over and in a husky voice whispers, "We're going to have a little memorial service."
Oh, God.
Now, I'm not the only one to go through this, but every word, the guy, first of all, they bring on his partner who collapses crying. Can't go through, his part. The guy was just shot and killed on the line of duty 5-6 days ago. Jesus. They bring on his family, his wife and kids. She faints during this thing. They're going to give her a foundation check they collected.
You'd rather
the
follow
kids.
Carrot Top at this point.
Well,
you're backstage pacing.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
No, that's the point though about not being afraid. I'm not backstage. I'm in the back of the room of this huge group and just watching and just thinking, boy, how do you like this? And she faints. They cart her off on a stretcher or like a bier. They have 4 guys carting her off, and the kids they unfurl a portrait of the guy next to an American flag the length of the arch. Everyone stands and sings a hymn. and then, as if it had been scripted, the guy says, "And now, here to make you laugh." And all I knew was, and this is, I think, what comics are like. I just looked at the trooper again, but there's nothing to look at. I just, all right. So he leads the way, and all right. And so I walk behind him up the aisle in the middle there, and all I could think of was, I can't wait to tell the fellas back at the comic strip in New York.
Yeah.
Because it would never enter a comic's head, well, these are not perfect circumstances. Or maybe I should point that out and say, perhaps I'll go on later. No, I'm thinking that this is a good group of people, and I'm hired to go hit the ball now. And those are one of those long sets where you don't know, where they say, well, we'd like you to do an hour. Oh, okay. Instead of, because 5 or 10 minutes is plenty.
Yeah.
20 is double plenty.
Yeah.
But the point is, I got up there and just started performing. I didn't change anything. I didn't, put in things.
Your opening line had nothing to do with your circumstances.
Right. And I never said, I went to a baseball game. I'm sure Denny liked baseball. Huh?
Oh, my God.
I never did anything like that. I just performed in a way I love to perform. The first 5 or 10 minutes were a little quiet because look what they've just gone through. The audience is so moved. They're crying.
Right.
And you know what, though? They came around fine.
Yeah.
And it was a terrific set. And then afterwards, one of the fellows said, hey, we've got a meeting room on the 14th floor, which is just a suite. But they bring up, 5 bottles of liquor and some potato chips. And so I went up there, and that's a job. So when I didn't come home, I didn't call my agents and say, hey, so what are you, stupid? Or because they're not. They're booking a job. That's fine with me. I could call them. How'd the job go? I could tell the truth. It went great. Let's get a lot more. And it was for good dough. And that's what I really believed. I wasn't hiding anything. And I did tell all the guys at the comic strip. By the way, last year in the summer, one of my sons is a terrific baseball player, and he was asked
I remember
to
him in
come
Little
out.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really good, and he was invited to go to a place in Nebraska, right next to where they have the College World Series. The point is to spend 4 or 5 days there and be part of a sort of baseball camp with good college coaches and and this before senior year in high school.
Great.
And it was great. And I went with him. We had a great time together, just staying in a motel together and having fun. But a guy from there comes up, and I sit in the stands and just watching. One of the fathers comes up to me, and he said, did you perform at the Iowa State Police Association convention in 1988?
You're kidding.
Oh, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And I looked at him and said, get out of here. He said, and I was in the room afterwards, too, when everyone was drinking. I said, get out of here. So that's that's another answer to the question, what's show business like? That. And then you go to a baseball camp with your kid and meet someone who was there. If you love it, and I do, and if you're made for it, and I am, you don't carry with you when a comic who's nuts comes up to you and says, hey, remember that audience back in November. It was terrible. They were at the thing with this or that. And A, I don't remember. B, I want to say to this guy, you've got to stop living this way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not helping yourself, and it's kind of nuts that you're even thinking about it. And there's nothing to remember, nothing to think about.
Now, this is 2 weeks in a row now that we're having an intervention here, Sarah.
What are you talking about?
Well, this is very similar. He's telling us, how we should receive things like this, adversity like this.
Yeah.
What we would perceive as that. All right, should I just say me? That's how I'm perceiving it.
Yeah.
Oh, not you?
I felt like you were
don't
gonna
relate
just
to this
try,
at all?
I totally relate to it.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were going to try to throw me under the bus for some reason, and that's what I was waiting for.
Because I've done it before?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, great.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Because that's what I do?
Oh, we had a caller, and now they're gone. Damn it, come back. Larry, it wasn't me. I was trying. Larry told a long story.
Which was so
we had
compelling.
a caller up on the line. It was so compelling, but I guess he went away. Maybe he's listening to the rest of the
Well, I'm
story.
sorry. Since it was compelling and I didn't know what the caller wanted, and I want him to call back, but I can answer and just say yes.
Yes. He probably wanted to tell you that. He probably wanted to hear that story. So tell the story about you in Omaha. So the one we cannot go by, and without asking you about the recent health.
Oh, the brain injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to dance around
I was going to say, who are you talking to?
I was trying.
Well, I was trying to find a delicate way to put it. Really? But
After
no.
hearing your story about the cop and following the death, I just sort of gone direct.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah, you fell and
I walked out of a small building. Okay, it was a bar. And
what bar was it?
I don't want to say on the air.
Well, you don't have to be specific. Was this the Irish pub or the English pub?
Oh, the Irish one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I listen to your podcast. That's why.
Oh, how do you like it? Well, thank you. And it was the
And
Irish
they have real
one.
Irish people in there, of which you were not one of them.
Right. And it's a great place, and I would love to say the name, but I don't want to embarrass them. This is.
Why would that embarrass them? Because you fell.
I don't know.
Unless they tripped you.
No, I don't think so.
I would be embarrassed. Oh, look here, sorry, Miller. Let's trip him.
It's got a.
I always do a
great name,
leprechaun
too.
when I do an Irish impression, but go ahead.
It's called Ireland's 32.
Okay, and you were in there having a couple of.
I was on 31.
All right.
But no, it was after doing a show and with Adam Carolla, in fact. And the point is, and I called.
Were you
home.
with Adam?
No.
Okay.
The point is that I called home. My wife was still at work. I said, "Why don't we go out?" I was feeling it was a late afternoon show. Come on, let's grab a bite and we'll just be together. And the kids were off in their room doing something or other. But the point is that I came out. I only had a couple, like two. And I walked out, tripped on the. I've never done this. Tripped on the sidewalk, and fell backwards. They have a stone front. The point is, I cracked my head like a walnut, and I walked in. We called.
You didn't brace yourself with your hands, or were they occupied?
Brace against what?
Well, when you're close to the wall, usually a hand would come out.
No, it was the back
Whichever
of my
way
head.
the wall.
It was
Then it comes. Then you're a praying mantis or something. I always picture myself whenever you hear about a tragedy. I would have got out of that one. How did you not put a hand back
I can
there?
imagine you saying this to someone who fell from a plane. Why didn't you try to
I would have grabbed a parachute on the way out.
Didn't you? Could go.
I
ahead like
always think of how I would have handled it. So I'm wondering how you didn't throw a hand out.
It was behind me and it was very fast.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
falling, and I just felt wacko. And they helped me up, so I'm sitting down in the little flower bed there. They helped me up, and that was fine. And I said, well, and they said, well, do you want to call an ambulance or something? Go to the hospital? And I said, well, excuse me. I said, I feel all right. Why? But I began to notice that everyone who looked at me was kind of horrified. So they, because you cracked your head, you're bleeding, head wounds bleed a lot. So I said, well, let's call the ambulance and let's dial 911, and then
You're
I'll
still
go in
awake.
and finish my drink and have my half a fried chicken or whatever they made for me there.
Yeah.
And as I walked in, now again, this is a great bar and a tough place. Everybody there has. I would take any five guys in a row sitting there. anyone
as your fighting partner.
Yeah, and yeah,
Right.
they could be tourists from anywhere. It doesn't matter from where. The moon, South Korea, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I would just say, well, take those 5 guys, but we haven't met them. I said, take them, just take them. If they're in this place, they know
Right.
what a punch is, and so
And even them,
yeah,
they're checking the head wound.
Well, I said to the bartender, who's someone I've known. The truth is, I'm not there a lot, and I just said, "Do me a favor, let me finish that drink, and then just check on the chicken." And he said, "Okay, Larry."
You have a head wound, and you're talking like.
Well, it's what a head wound does. And so then he turned to look at me and said, "Oh, okay, Larry," and he almost did like a W.C. Fields, what the and like a double take, a classic, and he just said, "You know what, Larry?" And he brought some water up and a rag. He said, "Why don't you put the rag on?" I cracked my head open. And the point is, it was, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. People die from this. And I did, but I came back. I was told, you're not done telling jokes.
So
For
wait
real?
a minute.
You died.
Hold on. For a storyteller, you just skipped like maybe 9 chapters, okay?
Oh, sure. Here's one chapter.
You're a cracked walnut,
Here's
you're
one
ordering a drink, and suddenly I'm back telling jokes.
Suddenly,
there's something missing
I've just
in here.
spoken to God.
Like a hospital.
Did
like,
you really?
Yes. Yeah. And
Who
then
sent you to the hospital? And
The ambulance. They came there.
Finish your chicken.
You know how tough this bar is?
I want to know about how he died.
Hang on. You know
I
how
know.
tough this bar is?
What?
The ambulance was right around the corner. It was right. They wait.
They just park there.
Yeah, they say, every 20 minutes or so, they're going to need us. But that's fine. When they asked at the hospital, by the way, it was great. I went to UCLA. This is a really top facility. And when they asked, do you want to use a different name? Do you want to put a different name up there? And I just said, look, it's very nice when folks ask that or in hotels. It's very flattering. That's dandy. But it's not like Madonna or stars going to a hotel, and they could probably use
A
a
hospital
phony
wanted
name.
to know if you had an alias and you have your head cracked open?
Well, here's why. They put me in a coma. That's what they do with head wounds like this.
Oh.
They put you intentionally into a coma, and then when you're out, they take the top of your head off, put it in a freezer, right next to the fish sticks. You know, the ones you're not getting to them anyway.
Yeah.
But the point is, that's what happens. And before that, now the hospital, the head nurse that came over, and my wife was there, and she said to us, you want to use a different name now, because once they put you into a coma for a head wound, that gets out. It gets listed.
Wow.
And you probably don't want to.
Now, can you hold that one moment? Oh, okay.
Sure.
We'll just put fish sticks. You're going to hold the story of fish sticks, okay? Speaking of Mrs. Paul's, we have a caller named Paul.
Let's go.
I am the Segway King, okay? Paul is calling. You don't have to actually look up at the caller board. You'll hear him. Paul, is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Hi, Paul. You're on with Larry Miller.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, how you doing, Larry?
Well, just fine. What's up?
I'm glad to see you're doing okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
From the surgery, the head injuries and stuff. So that's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever met your counterpart with the BBC?
Oh, you mean Larry Miller, the newscaster?
Yeah.
I never have, but I'm here every so often on National Public Radio. They say, and now we go to our guy in London, Larry Miller. And I always... well, you want to say... Initially, you want to say, well, it's not that common a name, but it's not an uncommon name.
You're thinking, I'm in an English pub, but I'm not in England. How did they know?
They were so mad because it was an Irish pub, and he's English. You know what? I never have. I have met Larry Miller, the Mattress King.
Okay.
I'm serious. He has a zillion stores, and he always says, "Oh, your mattress is free." And in fact, they wanted to do commercials with me.
It's a common name. You didn't need an alias at the hospital.
Well,
they might have thought it was the Mattress King, going for a nice nap, for a nice coma nap.
I don't think he'd want that. But the thing is, they say, that was when we chose a name. And I said, they said, what name do you want? I said, the only name I can think of is Flintstone, but that would be just stupid. It's the only name in my head. And the nurse, who was pretty sharp, and she just looked at me and my wife, and she said, well, how about just Stone then? And I said, well, that's pretty sharp. She said, just Stone. I said, looked at my wife and said, Fred Stone. and she said, yeah, okay. So we were listed as Fred Stone. And that's what it was. When I went to the rehab center after getting into the hospital, in fact, the nice young woman who was at the desk in the front there would always say to me, good morning, Mr. Stone. And she always gave it a little loaded quality, and I liked her. I didn't know what she was doing or why she was doing that. But I said, once or twice, I said, you know what? It's we're fine. You can just, I'm Larry. Hello. Nice to meet you, Diana, or whatever your name is. And let's just go with that. But every single day, I'd come in and she said, good morning, Mr. Stone. And I think she just enjoyed it. So I just stopped saying it. I said, good morning. Good morning to you. And so...
it's not a good thing to mess with somebody that has a brain injury to mess with their last name, though.
I know. That's what I was thinking. That's even worse. You're thinking, do I have a new identity? I mean, maybe I am Mr. Stone.
Well, there's something about it that's kind of neat, but it's... I don't need a phony name anyway.
The comedians aren't as famous as other people. Thank you very much for calling, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
And appreciate you listening and watching. My friend is a rock star, and you know what? We should look that up. We should Google that someday and read some of the pseudonyms that they go by. My friend goes by Phil McCavity.
Phil McCavity?
That's his name. So I always know when he's around the country. If I see his band is touring, I know how to find him. Is call the hotel, the nicest hotel, and he's always under Phil McCavity.
Yeah,
Well, you're friends with Seinfeld's got to go on an alias, doesn't he?
Sure, but I
can't imagine.
I just think your friend Phil, you might tell him, Bob Johnson works too. If you just want to go regular.
You might as well have some fun with it. And there's, by the way, there's a number of Bob Johnsons at the hotel. They'd say which one, right? So Phil McCavity, there's only one. I think it's a very good idea to go with somebody like that.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we don't get to the you dying, actually,
we're getting to it. Look, fish sticks.
Okay,
We're
but
back
if
to
we
fish
don't,
sticks.
is it on your podcast?
No, it's going to be. I'm writing a show about it.
Great.
Because it's really like the things we all talk about. It's part of life. It's wonderful to notice something in an airport and write about it. It's wonderful to notice something in a kid's school and write about it, or a supermarket. But it's also wonderful to have, something happen where that's pretty major, and what a blessing. You recover, you become the same, and 10 times better, and 20 times better. There's a lot to do out there.
Did you die? Did you see the light, kind of thing?
Well, I'm not supposed to say. No, I'm just teasing.
By the way, you could have gone another 5 count on the. Oh, I'm just teasing.
I know, but
you could have had it. You had us.
We
could have ended the show on. I'm not supposed to tell, but okay, and we wouldn't have thought you were kidding. But go, great.
I actually like.
Glad you are going to
in
tell
the
us.
show, and I couldn't once I saw your two nice faces, looking at me like that. Wow, he wasn't supposed to tell. That's pretty heavy. But no, it wasn't that at all. Like,
but if you're not supposed to tell, and you are releasing it only on our show, we will use that in our promo.
Yeah, fair enough.
Even if it's made up, we're still using that. We have an exclusive. Every news program looks for exclusives. We have one at the Craig Shoemaker Show.
Well, as long as
Larry Miller's about to reveal how he died and how he's here with us today. Unless this is an illusion too.
It sounds hard. No, it sounds horrible to just say it, but that's what happens to people. People die from wounds like this.
Mm-hmm.
You crack your head open. But I didn't, and I was sent back to tell more jokes. And you know what?
We know that. Now, we want to get to, did you see a light, or was there a moment where did you flatline?
you'll have to see the show because
that's why he can't
you know
tell.
something.
But in our promotion, we're going to say that he did.
Now, every
how about
step
say
on
a
this
l-
show is now.
Tell us a lie that we can promote. So you
I'm very lucky, and I just feel it's like the king of the world. People say, "What's it like to come back home after being away for months and months? You know, almost half a year."
Oh my God!
And I say the truth. Listen, I got back home, and my wife was held her finger up to wait a second because she was watching a decorating show, and the kids were playing a kill everyone game downstairs.
So nothing changed.
So it was. I know. Oh, it's still the same, and the dog is still the only one who really cares for me. So I knew.
Wow, I'm having deja vu. Have you told this story before on a late night talk show? I'm having deja vu. Like I've heard this. Heard you say that.
No, only on our
this
show.
is
No.
This is
Exclusive. I got it.
Exclusive. You got it.
But
Okay.
I'm.
Yeah.
It's true, which becomes good comedy though.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to have happen. You can exaggerate that. It's my kids are great. I love them.
Yeah.
And they love me. Same with my wife. Now, there's no comedy though in describing your life as Father knows best. It's funny and just saying that. Well, they and this is true that everything I told them to do, I cook breakfast every day for them because I do it perfectly, and set up everything and with the eggs and toast, different ways, just right. Make something for my wife and one of the kids. It takes too big a bite sometime, and when he does that, I always say, have less than it. Remember, and when I got back from the hospital, just have less. Take much less than half that bite. Now that's true. You take too big a bite, and he looked at me for a second. Then he looked at the other son, and they just looked at each other, kind of a. I know, we know, and here we go. And then he looked back at me and just said, "Dad, do you think maybe you're just saying that because you broke your brain?" And he really said that, and I just said, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But at the time, since it's your family, I just said, look, I'm going to break yours if you don't sit there. You just become a father at that point and just say,
that stereotypical.
would you rather I didn't set up 2 forks and just 1 for your plate? But at any rate,
But you were talking about being the luckiest guy in the world, but this has been the case for quite some time anyway. I mean, I remember we were in acting class.
Yeah.
Do you remember Candy Herman's class?
Sure.
And you had not done one film yet, and I hadn't done anything either, and I still haven't. And but I recall, we were just on the rise, and it was a dream at the time, and now the dream has come true countless times. I mean, how many films have you been in? And each one you must be saying to yourself, oh my God, here I go again. This just feels so lucky and fortunate. And
yes.
I know the hard work is born out of that.
No, because I love it again.
Right.
That's why the answer, if someone says, what's your favorite part so far? And the truthful answer is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And because I love being on a set, whether it's 2 days or 2 months, I just love it. And to drive up every day and see the same
and work with people you love, like Gary Marshall hires you every time.
I love the guy.
And he's a sweetheart. He's a really good guy.
Yeah,
he hires the same people, Hector Elizondo, and you're part of his cast. Was the first one Pretty Woman? Was that the first time he hired you? And that was a big breakout role for you.
Yes.
Do you remember Pretty Woman?
Yeah, I remember.
Great chance
you
to
remember
be
his
funny.
part?
I was the manager of the clothing store in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's right.
And how much was ad-libbed?
Everything.
Oh, yeah, the when I got you let her shop.
The whole thing.
He goes, here's what you're going to do, here's the setup. And he gives you the setup, and then
he
you
says,
run from there.
You go to him, and then when he comes in, you don't know him. And then he says, and okay, action. But he's very, very clear, and then you get something, and it sounds right. Plus, he's a great guy to act for. He knows, you can say less. It's a little too much. Just a little less, and I know what that means. So the point is, I love working for the guy. And
now, so he gives you the setup. I guess Larry David also works this way, and you've worked for him as well,
Yeah.
right? And Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's the setup. Here's the scene. And they trust in you that you will develop some sort of a dialogue that will work with and match with the other
Right.
actor.
And Christopher Guest works that
Right,
way with
yeah.
Eugene Levy, and
Yeah.
he's a great director, Christopher Guest. And they're long takes, sometimes 3, 6, 8 minutes long. And
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
because it's just say, "Oh, that's good." When you said you need this, why don't
The
we
camera's
go-
still rolling
yeah,
as he's
just,
saying
You know what?
this.
Start there, do that, and we can save that with her for later. And the point is, it's a very good way to work, and it's and lots of fun. So
It's instinctual, which is really what acting is at its best, and so is comedy.
Well, it sure is, and those guys are great. It's a pretty good group of knuckleheads he puts together.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much fun.
And then there's the comfort level, so that's out already. Everybody's vetted, and and you're just friends. And
yeah,
and now,
it's
do you ever
terrific.
try to make the other person laugh, and you just go,
No.
"Oh, no"?
That's not my style anyway. But I mean, I never.
You don't have those. You don't have a Tim Conway, Harvey Korman moment going on with Ed Begley or something.
Oh, never. But there is. But he'd be a great guy for it. He's hysterical.
Yeah.
There was. I've been in a couple of plays where. One thing I've won with an actor who, on the last couple of nights of the run of the play, we were on the couch and I'm angry at him and he's sitting next to me and then I'm supposed to pick up the Time magazine, whatever it is that's set up and say, look, so this is the thing. And on the last night or the couple of nights before the last night, I open it up and he had pasted in. You want to fill in the blank there, anybody out there?
Yeah.
You can guess what he pasted in. I'll give you
Let's
a
play
hint.
Mad Libs. What?
It didn't
a
pop
vagina?
Well, my salts. But, you know what? But it was magazine. He found a magazine, or several, which was called things like.
Well, this is how your
Fat
life.
Girls.
Your life became full circle. this is what your sister presented to your father.
Yeah, but they were really pretty.
Okay.
And so he'd cut out 7 or 8 pictures, and and put them in of these young women who were, from magazines that you really wouldn't
How did
want
you
to see.
respond on stage?
Well,
so you're live
and
on
I'm
stage.
on
It's
stage,
like
and
you have
I-
another take at it.
And now, exactly. And I opened the magazine, and I saw it. I'm supposed to look, but I'm saying to myself, I can do this. I can handle this. I'm okay, and I can handle this. And before I did anything, and I just looked over at him. And he's right next to me, and he's looking. We're closer than we are now. So his face is only about a foot and a half, and he was just smiling at me and looking right at me with kind of smiling eyes. And I wanted to say a variation of, but he was just smiling. So I said, all right, so I looked back and I started reading or reciting the dialogue from the play, what I was supposed to do. And this is all in only 3 seconds or so.
Yeah.
But that's a long time. And so as I went back to read it, I realized I just did a couple of words, and then I just kind of knew that, I don't think I'm going to make it. and I didn't make it. I started to laugh. and
Just show the audience, look, I can't do this. You got to see what I'm looking at here.
That's a huge bitch.
You didn't hear that. He just said that. Okay, so...
so no, he was a great guy, and we
Yeah.
liked each other. But so we laughed. I had a night where I went off dialogue with Lovitz in the Neil Simon play. But that you're not trying to do that. In fact, the stage manager said that night, because it has many different entrances. It has a farce like construction to that play, and I went up to her like 3/4 of the way through. I said, I'm just, it's killing me. I can't get rid of this laugh. That John and I started in the first scene, and we were in the whole play. But the point is, and she just said, you know what? Everyone thinks this is a short play, and it's there's no intermission, and everyone thinks that it's, that it's weaker in its structure. But she said it's not, and any actor who thinks any play can just be done without thinking about it will get his butt kicked that night. And I said, you know what? You are right. And that's smart advice, I think, to all actors of saying, take your time, think about it, concentrate, and get ready, and then go out there like Babe Ruth.
You're not just hearing that music. That's real.
Oh,
That means
boy.
the end of the show.
Wow.
Why not end on great sound advice from the great Larry Miller,
Yes.
direct from Candy Herman's acting class
Direct.
to many, many films, and to us today. Real honor to have you, brother.
Yeah.
And
Same here.
let's have you back again. How do we hear your podcast again one more time?
It's on iTunes. It's called This Week with Larry Miller or LarryMillerPodcast.com.
Not to upstage him, but also go to ours, CraigShoemakerShow.com. Laugh it off. Rate and subscribe to us on iTunes and all the other places. Stitcher, we're all over the place. CraigShoemakerShow.com. Sarah Sweet,
Thank you.
as always, you're amazing, and we have much more to discuss next week, okay, that
Yes.
we held over, okay? But we had Larry Miller, the great Larry
So
Miller.
great.
I want to have you back right away. You live in the hood.
Oh, pal, thanks. Yeah.
You know, I know how tough this hood is for you. But you can always donate to the show at CraigShoemakerShow.com and Ice House this weekend. I'll be there. And we'll sing. I might even sing with Max Adler from Glee. Maybe he'll do a little Les Mis with me. That's what I'm hoping. He does that from the audience. Who knows? You go check that out. And what else? Who do we have next week? Yeah.
Great.
We're going to hold that over. We have a
It's a
really,
surprise.
really big guest next week. So you're going to have to go pay attention to my website
But
and
he's
go
not
find
supposed
out.
to tell.
He's not supposed to tell. It'll be Larry Miller revealing exactly how he died. Maybe that'll happen next week. We'll have a carryover guest, first time ever. We'll see you then. Have fun.